Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. I am Jim Hacking. I did hit live, so we are good to go. The show has begun. It is Monday, May 8th, the 14th birthday for one Noor Hacking. Today is Noor's 14th birthday. We're very excited about that. And I will actually be cutting the show a little bit short today just so I can get home and make sure that we're on our way for birthday plans. I hope you all had a great weekend. I'm here with my friend Huli. She'll be watching the boards and watching the comments. She'll be sharing the link on how to join the waiting room so that you can ask me questions. I will be here just a few times this week. Huli, I might have said that the next show is Wednesday at 4, but I have to go to the airport on Wednesday at 4, so I think we might only have 2 shows this week, today and Thursday. I'm traveling a fair bit. I'm going up to Chicago tomorrow. I'm going to be speaking to the international students at Northwestern University at around this time tomorrow. So I will be unavailable. And then on Friday, we got a softball tournament down in Arkansas. So this is your shot today and Thursday for coming on the show, asking me whatever immigration law related questions that you might have. Huli, could you also Slack Umra and tell her that I left one of the lights off in here? If she could come in and turn it on for me, I would appreciate that. I hope you all had a great weekend. I had a good weekend. My son, Ibrahim, won the state championship on the Scholar Bowl. So he is a state champ. We're very proud of him. And the weather is finally heating up here in St. Louis. We've had a really nice spring. Now it is hot and humid, but there you are. So I'm going to get to the questions right away, and I'm going to start with Nico. Hello, Nico. You're on mute. There you go.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hey, thank you. Can I get off camera, please?
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you very much for everybody for the help you're giving to all the immigrants. It's really appreciated.
Sure.
So I'm in a process of filing marriage-based green cards. So I'm all collecting all the paperwork, want to get a good case before I file. But I have some questions, and hopefully you can help me.
Sure, go ahead.
But let me give you my immigration history. I came to the States in year of 2000, so 23 years ago, on a J1 visa. And I decided to stay. And what happened eventually, I met a girlfriend, bought a house. We have a child together, but things didn't work out very well. And we got separated, although we were never officially married. So around a year ago, I met my current girlfriend, which I actually married, and I'm filing for the green card with her. She's a U.S. citizen. We married in February this year, and I'm still collecting, everything for the case so we can file a good case. But my question is first about my son from my previous relationship. Do I include my son in the form I-130 in Part 4 as a family member? Although he's a U.S. citizen, we're not applying for any immigration benefits for him.
Well, they ask for all of your children, so you're going to list him as your child, right?
Right. So I should list him.
Why wouldn't
it doesn't matter? I'm not claiming him as a dependent of my taxes or anything like this.
But why wouldn't you list him as your child?
Well, I would list him. That's what I just don't want to complicate the case. Well, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, so there's a thin line between not complicating the case and immigration fraud. The way that they would see it, if you didn't list your child, they would say, oh, you're trying to hide the fact that you had this other baby mama and had a baby with that baby mama, and the only reason they would think you didn't list it was for fraud. So you've got to list them.
Okay, I currently listed it, but I just wanted to ask your opinion. And of course, we have plenty of pictures with my wife and my son, because he spends the weekends with us, and we have plenty of proof that he's actually my son. And I'm not trying to hide him or anything like this. I just don't want to complicate the case. In my view, since he's a U.S. citizen, they might say, it is not another part. He doesn't need any immigration adjustment or anything like this.
But the question asks you to list any child you have anywhere in the world. So you're overthinking it. You should just answer the question.
I understand. Thank you for that. And again, now looking at my immigration history, how important will be that my previous relationship, since we have a shared custody over my son. I don't want to make anything to jeopardize my custody with his mama. And do you think I need to provide any information about my son and my previous relationship?
Yeah, you're gonna
when filing.
You're gonna have to show that you provide financial support and that you have satisfied all of your child support obligations. Is there a court order of child support? Have you ever been?
No, we don't have court orders since we were never married. We haven't had any legal obligation. We just have agreement with his mom. I pay for his school, for his vacations. She takes care of him, during the week. I take him over the weekends in the summer. So far, it's been almost a year.
Nico, are you there? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm still here.
What's been almost a year? How old's the kid?
The kid is 12.
And when you said something's almost a year, what do you mean almost a year?
It's been almost a year even more than a year since we're separated with his mom, and we are kind of sharing the custody over him.
Okay, so here's how that's going to play out. If you don't submit really good evidence that you've been financially supporting that child, you're going to get a request for evidence, and they're going to this is a great way for them to mess with your green card.
Okay.
So you need to do a lot of legwork. First of all, so when did you enter the United States?
In year 2000.
So you've been in the United States for 22 years without status.
Yes.
Are you thinking of filing this case without an attorney?
I'm debating. I'm not sure. I haven't filed anything yet. I'm just collecting all the paperwork.
Why wouldn't you file with an attorney? This seems insane to me.
You think I should?
I absolutely think you should. This is not an easy case. They're going to come after you. You have a woman that you lived with for a really long time. You never filed for an immigration benefit. You've been here out of status in violation of federal law for 22 years. Another question, your J-1 visa, did you have a requirement that you go back home at the end of the 2 years?
It was actually a 6 months visa only.
That didn't answer my question.
I honestly don't know. I got to check. I know I never planned actually to stay. I had a return ticket and everything when I came to the States, but it just happened.
Okay, so let's just say that let's say you never called my show, and let's say you just filed. I can see so many ways this going sideways. Number one, you don't know if you had the 2-year requirement. That 2-year requirement, to get that waived, is very difficult. So, and that's something you have to do before you file. Filing for the green card based on your marriage to this new person, that's sort of the easy part. But actually winning the case, and if you need that waiver, do you have a copy of your old DS 2019 from when you came on your J-1?
I have a copy of the I-94. I have the I-94. I have actually my J-1 visa. I have the old passport with the visa on it.
And what does it say? Does it say you are subject to Rule 212E, or does it say you're not subject to Rule 212E?
I have to look. I don't know.
So that's the biggest issue for you, unless that's your number one issue. Child support, proving that up. That's going to be, if there aren't good records of you financially supporting that child because you lived together for the first 11 years of his life, and now everything's sort of, friendly and casual, then you're going to need a long affidavit from his mother explaining all that, because they're not going to believe a word you say about that. They're going to assume that everything you say about supporting that child is a lie.
Okay.
And then the last thing is, the other big issue whenever I come across somebody who's been in the United States for 22 years without statuses, and I don't want you to answer this right now, is whether you ever made a false claim to U.S. citizenship on a loan application, on a job application. If you've ever made a false claim to U.S. citizenship, which is right where they go, because they want to know, how'd you support yourself for 22 years? You were working without permission. Did you lie? Did you tell them that you were a U.S. citizen? Did you show them fake papers? There's all kinds of ways this can go bad. So I mean, there are a lot of people here who come on the show and they're like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to use a lawyer. I think if you don't use a lawyer, that is really dumb.
Okay. Okay.
Because there's all these little minefields that you have. And, you know, immigration fraud, the immigration fraud checklist that they use, number one on the list is, has the person been out of status and violated the terms of their visa? Yes, this person has. Well, how long has he been out of status? 22 years. Well, if he's been out of status for 22 years and he couldn't get that baby mama to file a green card application for him, and now he's got this new person, well, maybe he paid her. Maybe it's just a thing of convenience. He's really still shacking up with the baby mama, and this is just somebody he found to pay to get him a green card.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. It looks that way for sure.
Right. I mean, I don't think that's it, but that's how they're going to come after you.
Okay, so I should definitely keep a very good relationship with my son's mom and ask her to write a affidavit. Actually, even affidavit of the marriage. You know, she can do that.
Well, you said you weren't married.
I'm not married to her. I mean, for the new marriage, because she knows I'm married.
Yeah. Now. So again, asking her to write it and not having a lawyer write it is dumb.
Okay.
Because she would write like 3 paragraphs. Nico's a nice guy. He takes care of his son, and I think his marriage to the new lady is real. I mean, that's going to be worth nothing. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a 3-page statement, single space, explaining everything about you and her, everything about you and the son, everything about the financial support of the son, and then if she has any competent testimony to give about the relationship between you and your current wife, then we let her do that too.
Okay. So do you think, actually the immigration officer might ask, if I get to the interview about statement from her if I don't get it, or even call her or even ask her to come to the interview or something like this?
She can't come to the interview. I doubt they would call her. It's your burden. If you don't meet your burden, you lose. So
right.
The purpose of the affidavit is to get her story nailed down before you file, especially about child support, because if you don't have that nailed down beforehand, they're going to give you 30 days or 60 days to respond. And if you just send them, oh yeah, I send him, I have him on the weekends and I give her money for this and that, that's not going to cut it. You need to be as detailed as I explained.
Okay. So that's my biggest issue, actually my previous relationship and my son, and the child support and everything. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks, Nico.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jim.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
All right. Well, we got off to a fast start with old Nico. Let's say hi to Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Jim. Nice to meet you. I'm currently working with your office. The reason that I'm calling is we're planning to file the mandamus with Andrew at the middle of June. I just want to get some clarification about the process and why do we have to wait for the 1-year mark to actually file the mandamus?
Because I mean, it's not a per se rule. Where will your lawsuit be filed? Do you know?
In the court near I'm in Manteca, California, near Modesto, California.
Yeah. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but generally the delay has to be a reasonable amount of time. So we have seen some motions to dismiss based on their claim that their delay is not unreasonable, that it hasn't taken too long. So we had to pick a date, that we think is reasonable or unreasonable. And that was the date that we came upon. If you have strong feelings on it and want to file sooner, as long as you understand that they might file a motion to dismiss, which is always true. We've had, that's it's your call. It's not our call. It's just a guideline.
So if you wait at least a year, you have less of an opportunity, or they will have less of a chance to file the what you're discussing now.
Yeah. Remember, when we file a lawsuit, for the most part, you don't go to court. I don't go to court. Nothing ever happens in court. We just sue them, serve them a copy. They get working on it, and then we wrap up the case, and then we dismiss the lawsuit. Right. So we always need a bit of a favor from the U.S. attorney and from the government. If they, for whatever reason, decide they want to keep fighting and don't want to give the motion. I mean, we only get motions to dismiss in like 5% of the cases, and they're usually for overseas visa cases. other than that, we don't see it a lot, and we've actually been seeing less of them. And frankly, in California, we don't see that many. But we did just get one, so I can't predict. I wish I could predict when they're going to file a motion to dismiss. But yeah, I think if you wait beyond a year, the longer the delay, the less reasonable their actions are, which is what the whole lawsuit's about.
Okay, so we're
But
planning
it's really about whether they want to fight or not.
Okay, but if you wait at least a year, they're less likely to file a motion to dismiss.
That's what I think.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
Bye, buddy. All right, let's say hi to Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Daniel, are you with us?
Oh yeah, sorry.
How are you?
Caught me off guard there. Good. How's it going, Jim?
Good, buddy. What's up?
Yeah. So basically, I filed a 601 waiver lawsuit, and I was just wondering if you heard about there was all right. So I've heard that you can file two Amanda's lawsuit, and then right now I filed one with a team of lawyers that's called they basically call it a legislation. And I was just wanted to know what your opinion was on that.
So you mean a class action, you mean?
Yeah, I believe so.
So
It's like it's basically 16 of us filing a lawsuit against the UCIS in Nebraska.
uh-huh.
And it's
so-
because I'm currently in Mexico, and I've been waiting for the waiver for basically over like a year now. And they just seem not to care or speed up the process for families that are separated. Obviously, my wife and my daughters are in the States,
Sure.
so that's why I filed the lawsuit. But I just kind of like before I filed it, I was gonna check in with you, but
Yeah.
out of frustration and everything, like
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
mean,
So
I
is that
don't
with
know.
is who's handling that? Is that Curtis Morrison?
Curtis Morrison. I could be one of them. Yeah, there's multiple lawyers. The one that I talked to was Aaron.
Okay, so generally, I've tried myself to do some class action lawsuits with all different kinds of immigration delays, waivers, citizenship, green cards, all that stuff. I haven't had great success with class actions because they seem to want to fight those more. And I'm not about trying to make a law or getting them to change their policy. I'm just trying to get people their immigration benefits. So I think it'll go fine. How long ago, Daniel, was the lawsuit on file?
We filed it on the 14th, so not too long ago. We barely filed. I was trying to actually get your opinion on it, like I said before I filed it, but
Yeah, that's okay.
I mean, it seemed like the right choice because I've been waiting forever, and then time keeps going by, and I'm just trying to get back already and
go for it. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I think they'll get moving on your case. I think the theory that works in one will work with 16. I've done class actions probably 4 or 5 times, and they never go the way they never issue big decisions. They do just get working on people's cases. So that's why I don't do them one at a time anymore.
Okay, so
but I think you're fine. I think it's good that you sued them. I think that they'll get working on your case. That's what I think.
All right, Jim. All right, well, sounds good. Thank you. That was my question. Thank you.
Bye,
Appreciate
Daniel. See you,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Yep. All right. Let's say hi to Wise One. Hello, Wise One.
Hey, Jim.
How are you?
I'm very well. I just want to say thank you. Your show has been awesome. I just recently got my naturalization with pending 751. I've been following your show forever. You've been such a great help. Thank you so very much, Jim. Thank you. When I got there, they didn't even ask me no 751 question. They didn't even want my wife to come in. He just said, we called you here for naturalization. If you pass, it overrides the 751. So thank you, Jim. Appreciate you. God bless you.
Thanks for the call. Very happy that everything worked out for you. Congratulations on becoming a U.S. citizen.
Thank you, Jim.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Oh, we love those calls. Isn't that great? Isn't that great that Wise One got his citizenship and called in to thank us? That just makes my day. Hey, listen, speaking of, I need your guys' help with something. So right now, right now at the old Hacking Immigration Law, if you want to hire us, you have a couple of different options. The option right now is if you pay up front, you save $500 on whatever your legal fee is, unless it's some small little case. But for most cases, you can save $500 if you pay up front. So that's the first option. The second option is you pay half up front and then we break up the rest. And that's how it's been. Now, when we only had 40 or 50 cases a year, that was not a big deal. But logistically, there's a lot of bookkeeping that we have to do with the financial records to keep track of, what's the person's overall bill, how much did they pay up front, how much are they paying each month, because we're pretty flexible with that, right? And so there are people on our team who spend about 3 hours a day cleaning up everybody's financial records. So that's because of the payment plan. We are thinking of going to a different system where, again, people could pay up front and save $500, or they could work with this outside company that we met with last week. And this outside company would lend people the amount of our legal fee and the amount of filing fees. So someone could pay for all of that up front. They would sign loan document with this company, and they would pay 3% a month. So it's 36% a year in interest would be the interest rate. And they would pay $25 to apply. And then once it's approved, they would pay $150 startup fee. So it's $25, $150. And then those people would pay our firm the full amount, or whatever the amount the person wants to finance. And then that company would collect from the immigrant the amount that they want to pay each month to pay off the fees. I'm wondering what you guys think about this. I want to get some feedback. I want to hear your opinions on if you think this would help immigrants, if you think it would be unfair to immigrants, if you think it's something we should do, if you think it's something we shouldn't do. I value your opinions greatly. And I know you guys listen to me and trust me, but I also like to hear back from you guys. So do you think this would open up more options for immigrants who are trying to bring their spouse here, or file a lawsuit, or file for asylum? I think a lot of this company does work with deportation clients, and we don't do deportation. So, but this would just be for the filing fees and the legal fees. And I want to know if you think this is something that we should consider, or is it something that we should not consider? I would really like it if you put in the comments what you think. Yeah, it's a high interest rate, Nurse Laura. There's no doubt. Now they wouldn't have to finance the whole thing. They could just finance what they want. I think the reason the interest rate is high is because there's not a lot of immigrants don't have credit history. And this would be for people who don't have credit cards or don't have the ability to borrow money from banks or credit unions, and they need this as an option. Yeah. So I would love to hear what you guys think. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to thoughts. I wonder if you were calling our office and we said this as an option, would that be something that would make you say, hey, that would really help? Or would that make you say something like, boy, I don't want to do that? So everything's on the table. Any thoughts you have, any comments, you want to send them to me, you can send them to me, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. You could put them in the comments. Whatever you think we should do, go ahead and say it. I'm happy to hear it. All right, I'm going to get back to the calls, and I'm going to talk to Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Daniel, I can't hear you. I think you might be on mute. Daniel. All right, Daniel. I can't hear you, bud, so we're going to have to move on. Let's say hi to Manu. Hi, Manu. You're on mute.
Hi,
Manu,
Jim.
how are you?
Yes, good. Um, Thank you so much to pick up my call. I have like a big, I don't know, my situation might be a little bit difficult. It's just like, uh, I called you last time, and it's just I have like a 485 on 5. I had my asylum pending for 6 years, almost 7 years, and we filed the 485 last year. So it's been like 13 months now, or 14, I don't know. It was March,
Okay.
and this weekend I found out I was selected for a diversity lottery. So I don't know. Um, it's kind of weird. I don't know. I don't want to mess up my immigration file and
Wait,
stuff like that.
so you're inside the United States and they already awarded you asylum. You already have asylum, right?
No, I don't. My asylum is pending for a long time now.
But then how did you apply for a green card if your asylum is still pending? You can't apply for a green card if your asylum is still pending.
No, I applied for a 485 to my wife.
Through your
My
wife.
wife is my wife. We've been married for almost 3 years now, and we applied last year.
Is your wife a US citizen or a green card holder?
Yes. No, she's a U.S. citizen.
Oh yeah, don't
Born
mess
in
with
US.
don't mess with diversity visa. You got a much better thing going with your green card through marriage.
Okay, no problem. So you just I just have to leave it like this and don't even worry about it.
Yeah. Just focus on, developing more marital evidence, waiting to see if you get an interview, getting ready for the interview if you have one. But no, I don't
Yeah,
think.
we had like twin last December, so it's
Well,
been crazy.
congratulations. As I always say, that's
Thank
the
you.
best evidence. You just come and drop
That's
them each,
that's
put them
one
each.
right
Oh,
here.
look, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
great because then that's the best marriage evidence of all, especially twins. They're gonna know they're gonna know you're burning it at both ends.
yeah. So I called you last time and you told me to wait 15 months for a lawsuit because it been like we filed since March last year.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, with asylum, I think people that have a pending asylum case and get married, I think you're almost a lot of times you're gonna have to file a lawsuit. So you might not have to wait that long, but if you want to, you can. If you want to sue them now, you're 13 months. I think it's fine.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I will call and figure out what we supposed to do. I will talk to my wife and we will figure it out.
Thanks, Manu. Good luck with the babies.
Thank, thank you so much.
Bye, buddy. All right. Let's say hi to Chris. Hello, Chris.
Oh, hey Jim, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Pretty good so far. So I have a quick question for you. So, my BAWA was granted by the immigration judge on June 30th last year, and I went to the USCIS field office on October 13 last year as well. I haven't received nothing from them. Like I haven't heard back from them. Like, what should I do in this case?
So let's back up. So when did you come to the United States?
That's a while ago, 2014.
And then what happened immigration wise?
Nothing. I was still pending since then.
Well, when you came in 2014, what kind of a visa did you have?
I did not have a visa actually.
You entered without inspection.
hmm
And then what happened?
I was in removal proceedings. I got married, so for abuse, and then I got into a BAWA case.
Okay. And so the I-360 has been approved.
Yes.
And
I
what about
was-
the 485?
It was approved as well by the immigration judge.
But you haven't gotten your green card.
No, nothing.
How long ago was that the judge granted your lawful permanent residence?
It's been almost a year. That's June 30th last year.
And what does USCIS say when you say, where the hell's my green card?
I had sent a letter and I called and they said like because of the type of case they cannot give me information. I have requested another info pass appointment, but they will not grant me that.
So if you want that green card, you got to sue them.
Okay.
That's the only thing that's going to work. You can call them every day till the cows come home. If you don't sue them, I think your case is just lost somewhere because you're dealing with two different agencies: the Executive Office for Immigration Review, the Deportation Court, and USCIS. And I think that they're just a bunch of clowns. And unless they're not taking you seriously, and the only way to get them to take you seriously is to sue them.
Yeah, because it's been almost a year since the judge granted my case.
Yep.
So Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
And this kind of case, what can be done? Like, how does it go?
So we would file a lawsuit against USCIS. We would say, where the hell's his green card? And we would send a copy of the lawsuit to USCIS. They would have 60 days to answer. And I would imagine that sometime in those first 2 months, they'd say, Chris's case, we're going to get that green card produced. Will you give us another 30 days? And I say, yeah. Then they mail you the green card. Then we dismiss the lawsuit.
Okay. How much does it cost to do something like this?
Yeah. So the filing fee is $402 and our fee is $4,800. So it's $5,202. If you pay up front, you save $500. So it'd be $4,702.
4702. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good, Jim. I'll call you if I decide to sue them. Thank you very much.
Hopefully you won't need us, Chris, but we'll be here if you do. See you, buddy.
Thanks.
All right. All right. I saw an interesting question from Mems here. Has anyone heard of citizens being requested to do biometrics after the interview? So I think I have a video on this. It's called Nothing Good Happens If They Ask for the U.S. Citizen to do Biometrics. In my experience, the only time, Mems, that they ask for the U.S. citizen to do biometrics is if that U.S. citizen has a crime in their background that might make them subject to the Adam Walsh Act. So the Adam Walsh Act prohibits U.S. citizens or green card holders who've been convicted of a sex crime or a crime of violence against children, those kinds of things. If they've been convicted of that kind of crime, then any I-130, well, the I-130s can't get approved unless there's a ton of evidence. I don't even take these cases where you try to overcome the presumption that the person is ineligible to sponsor, but basically federal law keeps them from getting green cards for their spouses, even though they're married to, even though they're a U.S. citizen. The Adam Walsh Act denies them the ability to sponsor their spouse or their fiance for an immigrant visa or a fiance visa. So that's most likely what's going on. All right. Let's say hi to Dia. Dia JB, what's up? You're on mute.
I'm sorry. I'm
No worries.
I'm
It's all good.
How you
How
doing,
you
Jim?
doing? I'm great. How are you doing? I like that shirt.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's a nice day today, New York
Awesome.
City. Yeah.
Great. What's up?
All right. My brother and his wife. So his wife applied for him, and he got approval, and they already sent his case, and his case was documentary qualified on August last year. And since August until now, he didn't receive any appointment letter. And I was wondering about that. Like, should we do something regarding that? Because he didn't receive the IL letter yet. The appointment letter from the
What embassy is it?
Ankara, Turkey.
Yeah, so they're just really, really backlogged. I don't think there's much they can do except keep waiting.
Okay. Do you think how
Right, so
long?
is he from Turkey or is he from a third country?
He's from third country.
Yeah, so that even adds to it. So I think it's just another probably 16 months altogether. I mean, it's ridiculous. I would love to sue them, but if there hasn't been an interview, those are the kinds of cases where we've seen motions to dismiss. So I think they can just wait.
Okay. Do you advise me to move it to a different country?
No, that would just make things worse.
Okay, because I was wondering, because I was thinking, because he's from Yemen, and like if I move it to Djibouti, they only take like 3 to 4 months. So I was wondering about that.
I mean, different people have come on this show and talked about their efforts to try to move it to another embassy. I think it's really hard to get the embassies to accept it. You can try it. You can start with Djibouti and see if they'll do it, but I wouldn't get your hopes up.
All right. So it's better to wait and doesn't sue them for that. Okay.
We could sue them, but with Yemen, they don't feel like they can do background checks. I think that'd be one they might file a motion to dismiss on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jim. Thanks a lot.
See ya. Yep. Bye. Next up, Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
Oh, it's Joel. Hi, Joel. Good.
Hi. I continue to be amazed with your show. I've become quite the viewer here. I really
awesome. Thanks.
I love what you do, and I want to get involved with the cookbook when you start putting together foods from all over the world.
Awesome. Great.
We can contribute.
That'd be great.
I had a question about my wife's N400. Out of all the questions, the one that sort of got us was, did anyone assist you in completing this form? And I'm involved with her filling out the form, especially with the computer part of it. But it just seems like it opens up a lot to answer yes to that. Is that
Yeah.
meant for professionals or?
Yeah, I think that's for like notarios and paralegals and lawyers. Yeah, I think you're fine. As long as how's her English? Her English is okay.
It's quite good, but yes, it's quite good these days.
Well, I guess if the officer handed her the N400 and asked her to read a couple of sentences,
she could.
She could? Okay, yeah, I think you're fine.
She could do it. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I guess when all the yes or no questions, and then you ask, "What do you know what that means?" and then that's the part I want to work with her on a little bit.
I've had that happen with like, do you plan to practice polygamy in the United States? Oh no, what's polygamy? I don't know. Why'd you say no? Because I say no to all these questions. Well, then right. So I think I think either way, if it's a spouse, they're not going to get to. I've been to interviews that people filed without me, and they listed their spouse as someone helping. I don't think it's a big deal either way.
Okay, I had another question, and that is, we have a pending I-751. We're about 1 year and 5 months into that. We were planning on filing the N400 tomorrow. My wife would really like to go back to her home country in Thailand and see her daughter sometime in the near future. I've heard your responses to similar questions as this in the past, but I want to bounce that off you again.
Yeah. How long will she be gone?
Well, she's been gone already 129 days. She went one time when her mom passed away. We would limit how long she goes, maybe 30 days.
You're saying 129 days since she got her green card?
Yes.
All in one trip? That was all in one trip?
Yeah, one trip in 2020.
And that's the only trip?
Yeah.
And so like so let's say you filed tomorrow and then she got reseated, how long would she be gone?
If we filed tomorrow and then she went, we were thinking maybe 30 days.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and if she got called in for something, we would change her.
Yeah, and she has the extension letter?
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
And
I think
I
you're
have
fine.
one more. Okay, great. She'll be happy to hear that. One more question, please. And that's about, I've heard you talk about this before, about whether she can work or not. Now, I don't think our lawyer filed papers about working when we did our original documents, but we did get a Social Security card and a work authorization after I filed for something online with that. That has expired, the work authorization. What would I need to do if she wanted to work before we settle the citizenship?
The green card in and of itself with the extension letter is all that she needs to work. That plus the Social Security number. So a green card is better than work card. A green card includes the ability to stay in the United States for as long as you want and as long as you maintain your status, and the ability to work. So the green card is better. Green card's like a work card on steroids. So she's good to go.
Okay, fantastic. I can't thank you enough, Jim. I really appreciate
You got it, Joel.
all that you do.
Good luck.
Okay,
see you, buddy.
Take care.
Yep, later. All right. Let's say hi to Tony. Hello, Tony.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
So I'll be quick. I have a note case for my wife. It's I-130. We applied long time ago, like 15 months ago, and all of a sudden we received a note letter, and our lawyer collected all the documents and sent the documents by FedEx. So on FedEx they say they already delivered it, but on the website still showing like, please respond this case, otherwise can be denied until a certain date, and it's still there, and 2 days left for that expiration date. Do you think I should also upload some evidence online, or just wait for USCIS to reply that?
You have proof of delivery? You have the proof from Federal Express that it was delivered to the right address?
Yes, correct.
I think you're fine.
Okay, so I shouldn't just worry about it. Just
what what do they ask for? It can take a while. What do they ask for on the NOID? Why don't they?
Evidence for bona fide marriage, the usual documents.
Yeah, why didn't your lawyer submit it the first time?
She said normally we wait for the interview. That's the time you show the documents. She didn't file anything.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah.
So even 15 months ago that was dumb. Now you're trying to avoid interviews altogether. So do you feel like she submitted a lot of good stuff now?
I think so.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I think you're okay as far as the online portal not being updated. I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Do you think how long does it take? Does it give any notice saying like we received your documents or something, or it just stays like that?
They should update it, but they might not do it in the next 2 days. So I wouldn't stress out about it. As long as you are sure you have proof that it got delivered to the right address, I think you're okay.
Yes. Yeah, I checked the FedEx address, even the room number they put. So hopefully they receive it. I mean, it says it's received, but
did they have you send it to a field office or to a service center?
It's a field office in Boston.
Yeah, good. I think you're fine.
Okay, Jim. Thank you very much.
Bye, Tony. See ya. Gavork is here. Hello, Gavork. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Hi, Jim. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. I have a quick question. So my brother-in-law, they came here with 10-year visa, and then they have 2 kids. Both kids are citizens of United States. And then a couple days ago, we checked they won the green card lottery. But 2 months ago, they applied for asylum, and they got their fingerprinted like 2 weeks ago. Can they do adjustment of status?
When did they enter the United States?
5.5 months ago. Until June 15, they have time to go back.
And they just got selected in the DV lottery.
Correct.
Did they pay the medical bills for the baby being born?
Correct. All of them. Everything is paid off. Both kids are citizen.
And the question is, so they just found out in May that they got selected for next year's diversity visa.
Correct. Yeah, they find out, but 3 months ago they applied for asylum, and 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago they went and get their fingerprint printed.
So this sounds like a law school exam question. It's tricky because if they hadn't applied for asylum, I would tell them to go back to the home country. I would tell them because asylum. So this is really tricky. You have to be, when you apply for adjustment, you have to be in status. And asylum is not in and of itself status. So even though they applied for asylum while they were on that first 6 months, there's an argument that can carry them all the way to adjustment unless their case gets sent to the immigration court. But USCIS doesn't always believe that argument, right? So they're looking for ways to say no. So if they hadn't applied for asylum, I think it's an easy call, leave and go back in consular process. Can they go to a different country other than their home country?
The husband can go his country, but the wife, his visa has been expired because they give her 6 months. It's been 3 months. It's been expired, but the husband has another month and a half to go back.
Wait, so now we're talking about different things. So
they came together with the family, and the wife stays here because of the child, and then husband went back, and then husband come back again. So they decide to stay because of the problems they have in their country. They apply for asylum.
Well, this is not the kind of question I can answer on this show. This is very.
So they have to hire attorney, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You guys do that kind of stuff? Can they make appointment and stop? And
did they file the asylum case with an attorney, or did they file it on their own?
Their own.
Yeah, we can talk to them for sure. It's messy, it's complicated, but what I would do, Gavork, is you email our office and include them, and then tell them to follow up with us and say, I was on the show at the 45-minute mark on Monday.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you.
Bye, Gavork. See you, buddy.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. Let's say hi to Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Hey Jim, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I got you.
Awesome, thank you. So, just two questions. One question being, so I got married last month, and my spouse and I, we are having an issue with the affidavit of support. So she's still a student, and the question I had was, can I also attach my documentation since I work, with my employment authorization to support the affidavit of support?
You can, but you'll get an RFE and they'll tell you still need a co-sponsor. So that's sort of, you could be a millionaire, you could be a street cleaner, you could make $0 a year or $1 million a year. It doesn't matter because it's all about whether the U.S. citizen can support you. So you're still going to need to find a co-sponsor, and your finances are just going to screw things up. So I wouldn't even mess with it.
Okay. So do you suggest I can add mine and still add a co-sponsor, or just leave mine out and just use a co-sponsor?
You mean can you leave your spouse out? Is that what you're asking?
No, leave my. I was gonna add my documentation.
No, leave your
still.
stuff out. Your
Okay.
your stuff's irrelevant.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
That's it.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye, Daniel. James is next. What do you say, James? You're on mute.
Hi, sorry. Can you hear me now?
I got you.
All right, perfect. I had a quick question. Currently, me and my wife are at the 10-month mark in our I-130 petition process. My wife wants to come to the United States. We're potentially thinking about, or we wanted to see, could she come in on her B1, B2 tourist visa and do a change of status and await the completion of her I-130 petition package here in the United States? Is that even a possibility?
Does she already have a B1, B2?
She does, yes. She already has a B1,
So
B2.
here-
Yep.
So in answer to your question, our office has handled probably 30 cases like that. But the big issue is immigrant intent. And I'm going to tell you about two different people, okay? Person one says, I've been waiting on this I-130 for a while. I'm going to go see my husband. And not only that, I'm going to get into the United States on this visit visa, which is a non-immigrant visa. I'm going to sell all my earthly belongings. I'm going to close all my bank accounts. I'm going to bring everything I own in this suitcase because I'm not ever going back home. That person could get in big trouble with Customs and Border Protection, could get in trouble with USCIS if they applied for adjustment because they had immigrant intent and they entered on a non-immigrant visa. That's a big no-no. The second person, if they have a long pending I-130 and they happen to have a B1, B2 visit visa, and they came to the United States and they came for a visit, they told the officer when they came through customs, yeah, I'm going to see my husband. So they were completely honest about everything. If they then hung out here for a couple months and then said, boy, it sure is nice being here with my husband, James. I'd sure rather not go back to my home country. I'd rather do everything here. If they decided after entering on their visitor visa that they wanted to adjust their status, then that's a whole different thing. That can be approved. But it all comes down to the immigrant's intent. You, James, could have every intent of the world of, boy, if she gets through, I'm going to apply for her to get a green card. But if she has that intent, that's a big no-no, and you would need a waiver, and it'd be a big mess, and it would make your case twice as complicated and 3 times as expensive. Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely. That's good clarification. Thank you. Had another question if I got some time. What happens?
You do.
What happens if we're missing a document during the I-130 process? What could be a potential time penalty for any artifact or paperwork, or even like an address change discrepancy? Any sort of discrepancy as time within the initial petition submission?
It's hard to know because it depends on what the missing piece of information was. Sometimes they let it slide, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it leads to a 2-week delay, sometimes it leads to a 6-month delay. So it's sort of hard to answer. And plus, they don't ever say, oh, this took 4.3 months because you didn't give us X. That would just be me guessing.
Gotcha. Yeah, understood. And okay, so we're at the 10-month right now. What would be your recommendation at the earliest? Could we submit a suit to get the ball rolling on the case. We've been waiting. We had an extension. We were actually supposed to be processing, or we had like 1 month left on the time clock. It would have been 1 month on that little time clock once we log into USCIS, the processing time.
That I don't believe that time clock is accurate. I would give them a full year before I sued them.
A full year. Okay. So, okay. And what are some tips on maintaining status once you acquire the green card? What does my wife have to do to maintain her status as a permanent resident?
So
once
not
she
commit any,
acquires her green card?
not commit any crimes, not stay outside of the United States for more than 6 months. That's pretty much it.
Okay. And what if I'm a government employee? What if I were to get stationed overseas with her? How does that
So
work?
then we would apply for something called a reentry permit. That would allow her to stay outside of the United States for a full 2 years without coming back, which is a really nice little feature. But the problem, just so you know, most likely that would keep her from being able to apply for citizenship. So even if you get a reentry permit, you get forgiven for when you have your green card. You got to operate on 2 tracks. One track is how do I make sure I don't lose my green card? The other one is how do I set myself up for citizenship? So if she wants to apply for citizenship, she would need to be in the United States for half the time before the 3 years that she has her green card and is married to you, at least 18 months and a day. She has to be inside the United States. If she has a reentry permit, she can still keep her green card, but that might throw off her clock for citizenship.
Sure.
Now,
and that also
there
constrains
is-
me because
there-
I won't be able to leave the country either. As far as taking jobs overseas or getting stationed overseas, I work for the federal government myself, and that's how we got married. I was working overseas, and I got better.
You mean until she gets her green card? You mean she's stuck here for a good long while? If she comes on a B1, B2, and then she decides to apply for adjustment, she can't apply for the first 2 months that she's here. Then she'd have to wait for fingerprints, which is another 6 or 8 weeks, and then a work and a travel card can take anywhere from 4 to 8 months. So there'd be a good year where she's sort of stuck here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good info. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thanks, James. See you, buddy.
All right.
Greg is up next. Hello, Greg.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jim.
Sure, buddy.
I just had 2 quick kind of nitpicky questions about an I-751.
Oh, okay.
So, first, is there such a thing as submitting too much evidence? I would say we kind of tick all the boxes in terms of, the important stuff like leases, taxes, insurance, all that stuff. So, I mean, I have an excessive amount of photos, an excessive amount of screenshots of texts. Is there an amount of evidence that we'd submit that would delay them approving the case?
Only once in my life have I felt like I was maybe submitting too much evidence. So I would generally say no. But how many photos are you thinking of?
So, I mean, from what I'd seen online, we had a lawyer assist us on the I-130 and I-485. We had submitted probably 15 photos. But I mean, I've got, probably 30 to 40 with, friends and family, with us in certain special situations, like going to Disney and stuff.
I would think 20 or 25 pages of 2 photos with a description underneath each photo on a Word document size page. You're good to go.
Okay. And then the other question is, I saw that USCIS put out a memo recently about how to submit the forms. And so they were saying if you submit it to a lockbox, to still go with the 2-hole punch at the top with the tongues at the bottom. And then they said if you were submitting it directly to the service center, to not do that, to make it easier to scan, I guess. And I wasn't sure if, looking on USCIS's website, they say that still, but, another resource I was looking at online was saying just submit it the way you would to the service center to make it easier to scan. Do you know if it really makes too much of a difference either way?
I don't think it does.
Okay. All right. That was all I had.
Thanks, Greg. Good luck,
All right.
buddy.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. As I mentioned, I got to stop a little bit early today for Noor's birthday. I hope you all have a great day. I'll be back on Thursday at 4 p.m. Central. Thursday at 4. That'll be episode 367. Hooli, thanks for watching the boards. Everybody else, have a great week, and I'll see you. I might do a pop-up on Wednesday, but probably not. And I might do a pop-up over the weekend, but otherwise it's just Monday and Thursday. Hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you next time.